Mike O'Brien of the USA, our referee, and Francisco Hernandez has ball in hand, ready to get us underway. 3 more games to go after this one. We'll have the 5th, 6th playoff involving Fiji and the USA, then the 3rd, 4th between South Africa and Canada, and then our cup final here in Capetown, New Zealand against Argentina. It's Spain with early possession against Australia. Clever little kick through for Paul Pla to give chase. Cover defence from Australia from Ben O'Donnell. Then Lockie Anderson is brought down. No clear release from the Spanish tackler. Quick onto it is Lewis Holland. And 2 similar penalties early on. Ball being held on the ground with arriving players over the ball with rights.
Yeah. All over it. You got to almost to get that clean your shoulders. You got to be lower than the opposition player. That's why you lose that battle the whole time if you don't get your height right at the breakdown.
Javier De Juan was the man who won the turnover. Wonderful body position. An unforced error at line out, going on the outside shoulder, so Australia have the scrum feed.
Oh, you can give that. Come on now. It's not too bad. Throw from Hernandez. Spain will want to get into the room, and an energetic team. 2 teams that were impressive earlier on today. Just getting into their stride.
Stand out the back for Holland, and the chase is on for Ben O'Donnell here. It's a bad bounce for O'Donnell. He easily won the foot race against Francisco Hernandez, but Australia still with possession. And O'Donnell onto the charge again. 2 defenders drawn into that defensive situation, just not quite controlling the ball on the ground in the tackle. But a good recycle. Holland, Stannard. And held up in the tackle.
Tackle!
Oh.
Tackle.
I was going to say, if the tackle's from the...
As soon as a knee goes to ground, it is a tackle.
Yeah, they have to let him go.
Took a while to get there, though. Timensty is in for Australia. Simple as you like.
He's a good player, Timensty. Big, strong. Also, he's got a good engine on him. He scores a lot of tries for a big man.
What's up, man? Need to release him his tackle.
Very fleet of foot for his size as well.
Yeah.
Light on his feet.
Yeah, this Australian team doesn't have a lot, really. He's got a lot of grafters, doesn't have a lot of pace, I must say. Really good feet from him, good mobility from the big man. They rely on guys like Longwater to come on off the bench to add a bit of pace and X factor, but really a nice try from Australia.
Stannard to restart for Australia, and a wall of defence bearing down on the Spanish players. Lockie Anderson in there with the tackle. And Australia back onto the front foot. That's an important tackle made by half tackle Alejandro Alonso that wrested the ball from the grasp. John Porch, was it? Yep, John Porch there. Just the tackle coming in from behind and not quite in control as he went into contact.
Come in, please.
Just feel Australia would love to have the services of Ed Jenkins back, still unavailable due to injury. Such an influential player, and Someone who gives them much needed calm. Now Spain caught in their own in goal. Some hassling and pressure from the Australian defenders off the back of that scrum.
Yeah, particularly James Stannard, just showing experience. Realised, read the move. It was a brilliant read. He gets up off his feet and he's still going, trying to make that tackle on Genua. But Australia turnover position. Stannard will probably back himself to go over from here if it's a good hook.
Well, he was under pressure, so he got it away for Holland. It's a good line from O'Donnell. And Ben O'Donnell in for Australia's second try of this trophy final. Timansky with the first. Would have come into this meeting with Spain confident off the back of their 36-12 win against the same opponent in pool play.
That was just a great line from O'Donnell. Again, if you're going to rush up like that, you can make sure that if you're cutting your time off, you've got to make a great tackle. It was Alonso, I think, that rushed up from Spain, and he couldn't get a proper shoulder tackle in. Especially that close to the line, it's got to be decisive and accurate.
Lost forward from the restart, but then by Australia as well. A little bit of a let-off there for Spain. If that had gone to hand for Lockie Anderson. Spain were disorganised defensively. So normally the first knock committed by Spain. Look at that. This has been a common feature of some of the lesser teams that are finding their way on the 7 series. It's the ball they give away that's so dangerous, with defences disorganised. Holland's kick charged down and claimed back by Hernandez. Just seconds remain. Igor Genua, the Spanish captain, just asking if they can kick to touch and take the line out, which of course they can. Very little territory for Spain in this first half as well. It's all being played down towards their own 22. So one set piece opportunity in Australia's half of the field. Was in danger of being called a skew throw as well, but allowed to go. Paul Platt saw him score a wonderful try earlier today. In the victory over Samoa. And now it's Australia's turn to first tap the ball and then dink it over the touchline to bring an end to the first half. Timansky and Ben O'Donnell with the tries for Australia, both converted by James Stannard. Australia lead Spain at the break in the trophy final by 14-0.
Fuera y toda la presión es paramos a la línea y a partir de ahí hacemos un negro, ¿vale? Tranquilidad. Cuando estemos en nuestros 5 metros, pelea lo que sea, podemos jugar por el ciego, avanzamos, creamos momentum, hacemos un negro y luego hacéis lo que queráis. Si queréis verde o si queréis bien. Pero necesitamos estar muy cerquita y lo que hemos dicho es no cojo el balón y luego hago es ataco y luego cojo el balón. Vale, chicos, está bien, estamos dentro del partido, chicos. Estamos dentro del partido. Ellos cuando deciden entrar, entran a muerta, así que no especuléis, ¿eh? Como veáis un tío por ahí, aunque no tenga balón, hachazo. Hachazo, que se vaya al suelo y si acaso ya nos quitarán golpe. ¿Vale? Vale, va, ¿eh? Vamos a por ellos, chicos.
Avanzáis, chicos. Seguimos trabajando, ¿vale? Vamos 0-0. Vamos a seguir, ¿vale? Lo básico, no hacer cosas raras. Seguimos igual, ¿vale? ¡Ah! 1, 2, 3, ¡España!
En las bandas, desafiar, y si no, hay que salir de verdad, pero no podemos golpear.
1, 2, 3, say the Spanish team. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Trailing by 14-0 against Australia in this trophy final.
You could probably say Spain are probably one of the most improved teams. Well, you can't also write off Canada, who are in the mix.
Yeah, they had 3 heavy defeats in pool play, but they were in a very tough pool.
Yeah.
With New Zealand, Australia and the USA, who were undefeated in that pool. But it's the improvement they've made today, Shami, that'll please them no end, with victories over both Scotland and Samoa.
Yeah, those are good victories, those, especially the one against Samoa.
A little bit of interference at the breakdown as got a knee on the ground.
Tackle, down.
For the Spanish player. And a beautiful pop as well. That's Thomas Pearce. Heading into contact and eventually working a knee to the ground as well. So Australia clearly going high in the tackle around the ball, trying to hold it up. That's lost in the contact. And Stannard ran a good line there to playing the sweeping role, but read the knock forward well. Worked to ground by Carter for Spain, and away by Pla. Dipping into the tackle, not too much harm done there. Carter. Fontes in to make the clean as well. Pearce. Carter. Some real promise here from Spain, but Australia infringing the previous breakdown. Tap and go from Thomas Pearce.
Entry.
Side entry from Australia, so conceding a slew of penalties here and handing some momentum to Spain. Pass out of the back of the hand for Alonso. And Igor Genua is trying to force his way through the middle. Over the ball goes Lockie Anderson to claim the turnover.
Rescue time from Lockie Anderson. Spain were looking good, building up rhythm. The short passes, the good continuity, running off each other wonderfully. But again, Lockie Anderson right over the ball. So patient from Australia. With that over the ball, he survives the clean. He's still working, trying to get his hands on the ball. And desperation, great work on the ground by Lockie Anderson.
And a change or 2 for Australia. Maurice Longbottom and Brandon Quinn. Make an appearance. Lewis Holland, the skipper, is off. This is John Porch. And O'Donnell is through the middle again. 1 try already. It's going to be a coast in for his second. He has got some fabulous acceleration on him, Ben O'Donnell.
Yeah, and a beautiful swerve also. O'Donnell's got time on the ball. His timing is very good. And just the swerve, the acceleration, wonderful to see. Australia just weathered the storm, defended well. Lockie Anderson got that initial turnover, but from then on, just challenging running or challenging lines from O'Donnell. He just takes it wonderfully. Look at that swerve from him. Shows the ball in one hand, decides to go, and another beautiful swerve. And there goes O'Donnell.
Pablo Fontes left for dead. He was coming across in cover defensive role. And just 1 try away from jointly topping the standings here in the Capetown Sevens. Those are the kind of mistakes that Spain have to eliminate to progress.
What's supposed to be here?
Putting themselves under pressure with a handling error so deep in the territory.
Fine. Set.
Longbottom positioned directly behind the scrum. Stannard quickly away to Longbottom. He goes for the cross kick grubber. It's a chase on here. consultation with the in-goal assistant.
Okay, thank you. TMO, please check the grounding.
Thanks, Mike, for checking that.
It looked as though the execution of the kick was not nearly what he intended at first, but ended up being a lot closer than it might have been. That's a Spanish hand first, surely.
22 dropout, Mike.
No try, 22.
It was an ambitious kick from long bottom.
Substitution, 10 goal.
And there you'd think
10.
It's
probably one of those pieces. Maybe Sinatla would have got there.
It probably needed a bit more width. It looked as though it skewed off the side of his boot just a little bit.
Yeah.
Time back on.
Another substitution made by Australia. Double try scorer Ben O'Donnell leaves the field. Sam Myers is on.
Come in, please, goal.
And that tells a story from Spain. 7 errors to the 2 from Australia. Australia just more clinical and showing the quality.
A good line-out win first up from Tim Anstey, and then shift of direction from Australia. Good breakdown work from Australia, and a hand in there from Spain. There is just a scrum advantage, which is quickly called over, and this is Longbottom. The inside ball is good, and Matthew Hood is over for Australia's 4th try.
Yeah, and a guy like Longbottom, so good to bring off the bench. Just adds energy, and look at that, he's backing himself to the goal for the corner. He realizes space is against him, he gives it into Hood. But Longbottom, we've seen him come on off the bench. Really explosive little player, caused a lot of damage to the other defenses. Again, Longbottom, look at that quick feet, agility, pins his ears back, corner, corner, corner. I'm not going to make it. Inside to Hood, who's following up. And another great try from Australia.
Oh, big contact in the air there, but Brandon Quinn fell safely. Stannard, Longbottom, Myers on the switch. And look at the work rate from Longbottom there. Quick to get in there and make the clean after Myers had taken the tackle. Good energy still right to the end of their campaign from Australia. Putting aside much of the disappointment of day one, with some clinical performances on day 2. Have Spain got something left, though, to offer in the dying seconds of this game? They have indeed. And a rich reward for hanging in there in the way that they have. Alejandro Alonso gets a consolation score for Spain.
And it was the turner from De Juan, but again, Alejandro Alonso, good leg drive from him, good pace at the end, which just epitomizes the Spanish team. They haven't given up. They've tried hard today, but just too many mistakes at the end. Eventually, it does stick, and they get a consolation try.
And they have been up, as we were just saying there, against a much improved Australian outfit who played with more precision, more energy on day 2, and do take the trophy final. But Spain themselves showing much improvement. Let's not forget those wins against Scotland and Samoa in qualifying for this trophy final. It is a 26 points to 7 win for the Australians, with that late score from Spain. But Australia, after failing to qualify out of their group in the pool stages,